Employee versus independent contractor. How does the IRS classify you? Hello, welcome to a presentation of the Low Income Taxpayer Clinic of the South Texas College of Law, Houston. The Low Income Taxpayer Clinic assists low-income taxpayers in resolving IRS tax matters. We are here to discuss a very important topic today that may likely impact many of your lives in a substantial way, and that is your worker status for federal income tax purposes. More specifically, we will be discussing employee versus independent contractor status. Remember, this is not intended as legal advice. This is intended solely as helpful information. In our presentation today, we will discuss three main areas relating to the independent contractor versus employee status. I will begin by discussing the pros and cons of each status. Second, we will discuss the factors that the IRS considers when placing workers in these two categories for tax purposes. Finally, we will discuss the options for individuals or employers to have their status changed. Whether you're an employee or an independent contractor, there are taxes that everyone must pay. If the business treats you as an employee, then your boss will give you a paycheck that has several items taken out of it. This includes various income and employment taxes that the business sends to the IRS. This is an advantage to most because it is easier and ensures that the IRS receives the right amount of payments for the employee's annual tax due. This is called withholdings. An independent contractor is considered self-employed and, unlike employees, does not receive a paycheck with anything subtracted out. While this may appear initially like a good thing because you have more money immediately, it can be harmful because you must submit estimated taxes and also pay self-employment taxes every 3 months, or the IRS will penalize you. Directions can be found on how to do this on the IRS website. Also, you can find help from a tax clinic volunteer or from other tax or accounting professionals. Now that you know some of the pros and cons of each, let's look at how to figure your status.
When determining your status, you must look at the relationship between you and the business you are doing work for. To help out, you should consider the relationship in 3 different ways. First is the behavioral control aspect. Second is the financial control aspect. Finally is the relationship aspect. Let's look at the behavioral control aspect first. The behavioral control aspect covers facts that show if the business has a right to direct and control what work is completed and how the work is done through instructions, training, or other means. The first question you should ask is, does the business give you specific instructions on how to do your job? If so, you're likely considered an employee. The second question you should ask is, are you doing the job based on your experience and then telling the business what you believe needs to be done versus your employer telling you how you should do the work? If so, you're likely considered an independent contractor. Another question you should ask is, does the business require and provide specific training on how to do your job? If so, you're likely considered an employee. Finally, does the business have to approve the work you have done first? If so, you're likely considered an employee. The next thing we must look at is the financial control aspect.
The financial control aspect covers facts that show if the business has a right to direct or control the financial and business aspects of your job. The first question you should ask is, did you purchase your own tools and supplies for the job? If so, you are likely considered an independent contractor. The second question you should ask is, does the business reimburse you for costs and travel incurred while doing the job? If so, you are likely considered an employee. The third question you should ask is, does the business pay you a regular salary or paycheck every couple of weeks? If so, you are likely considered an employee. Finally, does the business pay you all at once or at the completion of certain stages of the job? If so, you are likely considered an independent contractor. The next thing we must look at is the relationship aspect. The relationship aspect covers the facts that show the type of business relationship you and the business have. The first question you should ask is, did the business hire you for a permanent position? If so, you are likely considered an employee. The second question you should ask is, Does the business provide you with employee-type benefits, such as insurance, a pension plan, vacation pay, or sick pay? If so, you are likely considered an employee. Another question you should ask is the job you are performing considered a key aspect of the regular business of the company? If so, you are likely considered an employee. Lastly, did you sign a written contract for a one-time job and then bill the business after the job is over? If so, you are likely considered an independent contractor. If, after looking at your relationship with the business, you believe you are miscategorized, there are ways to change your status.
If you don't agree with how the business categorizes you as either an employee or an independent contractor, we first suggest talking directly to your boss or human resources and asking them to change it. This can help improve communications and your work relationship with the business. If you or the business is unsure, a request to the IRS to make an official determination can be done by filing Form SS-8, Determination of Worker Status for purpose of federal employment taxes and income tax withholding. There is no fee for requesting an SS-8 determination. If you or another worker files a Form SS-8, the IRS will send a letter to the business. The letter will identify the worker requesting the change in status and ask the business to give its side of the story. This is why it's important to talk to the business before filing the SS-8. That way you and the business can work through the confusion before getting the IRS involved. Once a determination is reached, both the business and the employee will receive a determination letter stating the IRS's conclusion. Thank you for watching our presentation on Employee versus Independent Contractor. How does the IRS classify you? If you have any questions concerning your federal tax situation, please contact South Texas College of Law Houston Low Income Taxpayer Clinic. Remember, this is not intended as legal advice. This is intended solely as helpful information.